Hey gang, Ronin here. Welcome on back to the Retrocade. It's Monday, and that means it is time for us to kick off our next playthrough. And I figured, why not do something special and go back and revisit one of the most critically acclaimed and also one of the most influential games that I, as a gamer now of almost 45 years, can unequivocally say is my favorite, The Legend of Zelda. As always, if you enjoy the channel, hit the like button, subscribe if you are new, and ring the bell to be notified of the latest content. Also, you can look for us on Twitter at @Retrocade, and again, that is soon to be moved over to Instagram. I will have the how-tos and the why-fors later on in the week once I get that all sorted out. Also, spread the word as we are trying to reach our goal of 100 subscribers as soon as we can. That way we can expand the YouTube customization algorithm and make this channel bigger and better. Don't forget about Sports Saturday and Sucker Punch Sunday coming up, where we play a sports and fighting or fighting platform-based game from the 3rd, 4th, and 5th, and 6th generation. Also, we will have our one-day features coming back pretty soon, as well as WTF Wednesday, which is our little poke at games that on paper seem like a good idea, but in actuality probably didn't turn out being as good as they could have been. Also, if there's a game that you would like to see us feature from the Nintendo Entertainment System, the Super Nintendo, the Sega Master System, Sega Genesis, or Mega Drive, SNK Neo-Geo, Nintendo 64, PlayStation 1, or PlayStation 2, leave it in the comments below or drop me a tweet, and it could be any game from those systems that you want. Now, in thinking about which game I was going to play next, now that we have finally, after a prolonged span of 2 years to get Metal Gear in the books, which we did over the weekend, why are we going back and playing Legend of Zelda? Well, my reasoning is twofold. One, in the now nearly 40 years since this game was released, obviously we see the impact that the franchise has had on video games as a whole, not only in its making Nintendo the powerhouse that it was, along with the original Super Mario Brothers and a lot of the original core titles that came out with the Nintendo Entertainment System back in the mid-1980s. But also, I was trying to think about what was the first real open world type of game that I remember playing as a kid. And really, if you break it down, for a lot of my generation, our first foray into that was through The Legend of Zelda. Now, to be fair, there were other games that came along at the same time, most notably the original Metroid. But we don't think about Metroid as an open world type of game because it helped establish what we now consider the Metroidvania games, along with Castlevania, obviously. But this game, in hindsight, is so revolutionary for so many reasons. And I will explain them as we go, but obviously the first thing we need to do is, one, I need to figure out how I can get my name in here. It's been a long time since I played it, which brings up the other point I wanted to make, is that there was a time in my early teens to probably my mid-20s where I knew all the ins and outs, every way to get everything in this game, and I could beat it in about an hour. Those days have long since passed. So what I'm going to try to do, and I'm going to try and do that over the course of the next half an hour or so, is see how far I can get in a half an hour. This is not going to be a one-day playthrough. I figure this will be 2, maybe 3 parts at best. It's a shorter game, obviously, than the original Metal Gear, but if you take your time with it, you can certainly drag it out. So it's not going to be a speed run either. It's going to be mainly a test for me to figure out how much I remember about the game, and 2, just to go back and revisit and reassess this game from an older perspective and see where the influences that have been taken in every action fantasy genre that has come along since then, from the Elder Scrolls to, Oblivion, Skyrim, Morrowind, you name it. Dark Souls, obviously, there's a lot of influence there. All the things that we consider to be the pinnacle of open world hack and slash design how much of that can be traced back to the genesis of what Miyamoto and Takashi Tezuka did in creating the original Legend of Zelda in 1986. And if you've never actually seen this game, if this is your first time seeing the original Legend of Zelda, this will be an interesting trip for you to understand how this little game ends up becoming the juggernaut that we all know and love to this day. So again, if you are not familiar with the adventure or the Legend of Zelda, and at this point, how can you honestly not be? But this is Link. Link is a Hylian elf boy who is now tasked with the goal of finding the 8 pieces of the Triforce of Wisdom, and then going to the top of Death Mountain, stopping the evil Ganon, and rescuing the eponymous Princess Zelda. For the longest time, we weren't sure if this was Zelda or who else Zelda was. But the first thing you have to do is you have to come in this cave and pick up your sword. And this little nugget of wisdom has been so predominant in pop culture for the last 40 years now, and he ain't lying. It's dangerous to go alone. When in doubt, grab a sword. So, Link has one ability to attack, and the fact that he can throw a sword like that is only because those 3 hearts that you see under the life heading are full. If he takes a hit, those go away. You see he's got a shield, but it's a matter of I can't actively block with it. All I can do is like point in the right direction and hope that whatever is trying to attack him hits the shield. So I can obviously go up and down and left and right. The B button as of right now, I don't have an item that can go in for where the B button is. I will be picking those up as I go along. Now the thing about this game is that yes, there are 8 dungeons you have to go through. We have all universally understood as gamers that you go in numerical order. However, if you go on YouTube, and obviously you're there if you're watching me play this, you have likely seen, and it wouldn't be hard to find, people who have gone back and played this game and gone completely... Ooh, I just picked up 5 rupees, so I'm going to need those. Who play deliberately out of order to see what sort of combinations they can get. So rather than going through the first dungeon, and rather than just trying to see... Oop, give me the fairy there. See what they can do. Sometimes they'll start at like dungeon 2, and then go to dungeon 3, and then go back to dungeon 1. Now there are some that you have to have specific items to unlock. So it's not quite as a blank canvas to work with as, say, for example, Dark Souls, which, I mean, I've never played Dark Souls, but I have seen enough people... I've watched enough videos of it to have an understanding of how it works. But where the open world aspect in this comes in is that there's so much... Whoop, and I just got hit, so there went my ability to fling my sword. As I was saying... See, and that's where my shield comes in handy. You know, in Dark Souls, from what I have seen of it, you know, there is a million different ways you can go. There we go, now I'm at full. Now, my first aim here is to get, to start putting a nesting of rupees together so I can start picking up some items. I'm gonna need at least 20. So I can get some bombs at the very least. But one of the many brilliant things about the original Zelda was that there is while there's so much to be able to look at and see in this version of Hyrule, there's also so much to go and discover. And that is my first goal here, is to start unlocking some certain areas that will allow me to get Link a little bit stronger. Because your first goal should be to get 5 hearts. Now, you start with 3, obviously, so I'm trying to find 2 more. Ooh, that P-hat hopefully did. You can't get the P-hats until they stop flying. Whoa, that was close. Like, I can fire a sword at him now and it won't do anything. And this sword is helpful, but there are 2 other swords that I can get in the game. The first one that I'm aiming to pick up is what's called the White Sword. And once you see it, you will totally understand why. Oh, tektites. And these are blue tektites. And you may have noticed that there are... Ooh, I want to get that ruby. Thank you. Rubies go away if you do not get to them in time. Items will disappear, so you've got to be quick. Now, hopefully this is where I find the bombs. Yes. Again, it is amazing to me how... There we go. Now I have 4 bombs. And now you see there in the B block, there are the bombs. Now I have to be careful that I don't use them willy-nilly, because I have a specific reason for having picked those up. And I will tell you in just a minute as I go this way. And hopefully these guys will give me a little bit more here. No. Weavers, I do not want you coming at me here. More to go. Hold still. Bugger. Alright, well, that didn't help me very much, but now I can just come around the corner. And now we're going to have the orange tektites, and these guys are a lot more hoppity. But luckily, you only need 1 shot to take them out. Oh, man. I could have used that. So this is where I wanted to come for my first heart container. Now, you have the option of taking the heart container, which is the one on the right, or getting a bottle of medicine, and it's red medicine, which means you can use it twice. In these situations, you always, 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 always take the heart container. Because you will be able to get medicine later on. This is one of the other things that you find out, is that you will find goblins who are in caves with a gem in front of them, and you will find ones of varying values. There are some that will give you 10, there are some like this one that will give you 30. There are some that will give you 100. And there are some that will take money away from you. So you have to be careful by which door you decide to open. And if I touch those statues that are standing there, I do run the risk of waking them up. Those are actual enemies. Ow. Oh, shoot. I went the wrong way. Not what I wanted to do. Oh, if you guys are going to sit there and just march in a line, then I will tee off on you all day. Ooh, and I got more bombs. Even better. I forgot that they can drop them. Oh, do not tell me that I am lost. I can't be lost already. That would be nuts. There we go. This is where I want to go. Alright, and down this way. Now I have to be careful because there are levers down here. Ooh, and I got a heart back. That will be helpful. Come in here. And lo and behold, we now have 5 hearts. Now, the other thing is that you do not need to have them all the way full in order to do what I'm about to do. You just need to have them, you have to have hit that level in order to do this. So now we will head back up this way and head over this way. And they've already respawned. They don't waste any time. And now we gotta go this way. And once we go left here, we have to be careful because there are going to be boulders that are going to be coming down the mountain. We are essentially at the foot of Death Mountain. And that is a Lionel. And that is not a good position for it to be in. Because it can fling that sword, I can't block it. And because I don't have enough hearts yet, or I don't have a full health bar. Ow. Ow. That's not what I wanted to do. I need him to be... Oh, crud. Okay, you can be there. That's fine. And this is the white sword. Master using it, and you can have this. Well, now I have a sword that is the second strongest sword in the game. I can take out that beastie. If I remember, her name is Zoa. I can take her out now with one shot. And now I've got to be careful because now here's where the boulders start coming down, as you see. And I just got to run, 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 run. Run, 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 run. Watch it. And now there'll be pea-hats over here. Nope, there weren't any. There'll be a couple over here. There they are. Ow. Not what I wanted. Okay, I'm almost there. So... Oh, and I got the stopwatch. Now the stopwatch, and I got her. Even better. Fantastic. I get it? No, I can't. Shoot. Okay, but that could not have gone any better. Because now I'm back to full health, which means I can sling swords again. Now I gotta go this way. Okay, well, that doesn't help me at this point, but nice to have in a pinch. Now, come back. Whoop! Ow! Derp. Really? I will tell you, for being a 40-year-old game, thereabouts, you know, the controls, while you're still using a standard D-pad, aren't terrible, but they do take some getting used to. Okay, and what I need to do... is come in here and make sure I know the candles. Okay, what I need is, I need 5 more rubies to get this blue candle. And once I have that, then I will have everything I need to move to the next part of what I'm going to do. Perfect. That gives me 61. So come back here. Buy something, will ya? Now, when you see keys in here, you never want to buy a key either. And this big shield, which you can see is a lot bigger than mine, is the magic shield. You don't want to pay 160 rubies for it. And if I will remember the right way to go, and that's what I'm about to find out, is if I can remember where I find it. Oops. See, I went the wrong way again. But anyway, there we go. So go up this way, go back around this way. Take her out. Alright, I'll let the fairy go. Whoop! Come here. Oh, of course you're going to be right diagonally where I can't hit you. Alright. What I want is I want to be able to light that tree. This is where you want to go to get a magic shield, because as you can see, it's worth 90 rubies as opposed to 160. And when I first realized that we can start doing this stuff, that made this game infinitely more fun. And I still remember where this is, which means I can get another heart container. And I'm already at 6. And there should be one more right here. Nope, secret to everyone. Okay. So we cross this bridge, and this is Underworld level number 1. And I will try and get through this as quick as I can in about the next 8 minutes. And now that I have the white sword, and you're seeing how much I'm tearing through these guys, it does make this a lot easier. Now, you can argue saying, oh, well, you know, I'm being deliberately cheap about it, or I was trying to, you know, I'm trying to make the game easier. Well, think about all the times that you have played Skyrim, or if you're a Dark Souls player, how long do you go before you start really getting into the heavier parts of the game? You have to do what we all colloquially understand is get good. Well, if you have the ability to recognize how and where the things you need to give yourself an advantage in the game is, then take advantage of it. You know, the game's not going to sit there and accuse you of cheating about it, and it's not going to look down on you for doing so. So I'm not one of those people, you know, as much as I like to be able to play games as they were meant to be played, I also recognize that in a game like this, there was enough flexibility that you could cater it to your particular style. Now, there are a couple of things that I am looking for here early on. I've got to be able to find the compass, and I've got to be able to find the map. And there's the compass. Ow. I cannot believe I just got plunked by a bat. Now, the compass will tell me where the Triforce ultimately is. And I need to put my bombs back. So I can blow a hole in the wall. these guys give me the boomerang. Now, early on in the game, the boomerang is your best friend. And I can say that unequivocally. And here is the map. Because against smaller enemies like these little Hershey Kisses things, the boomerang can just go ahead and take them out. That's right, and then you push that. Open this up, and now this should be... Eastmost Peninsula is the secret. So you even get little pieces of lore as you go. Now, again, I haven't played Dark Souls, but I have watched enough YouTube videos of people playing the game that, and I've also played, I've played Skyrim multiple times. So in that respect, I understand all too well the value of having lore in your storytelling. Now I have to come up here because there's one other thing I gotta get, and that is the bow. The bow is behind that door. Now the other thing about the boomerang is that against stronger enemies, the boomerang can stun it. Now it can't stun all of them. There are some enemies that I will run into that it can't do anything about. And I gotta be careful of these traps. Ow, because they will hit and I will lose a heart. Now, you would... If you're wondering why I would need to come all the way up here and get a bow... The bow is actually one of the most mission-critical parts of this entire game. And if you don't get it right out the gate, it genuinely makes your job harder to finish the game. You cannot beat Ganon without the bow. So now I come all the way back down here. Hopefully I can get a heart or two. Now these guys should be back here. Ow. Well, I got more bombs, but I didn't get... Now, I have to be careful here because there will be somebody... You see, there's a creature coming out of the walls. Okay, now I need to go back and give me some hearts. Now I definitely need some hearts. Alright, these guys should be able to help me out here. Give me that. No, you didn't give me any either. Man, they are really stinging me on this. I gotta be able to get some somewhere. Ow. First, as soon as I get a heart, then I lost it. Alright, well, I'm gonna have to take my chances. Against Aquitaine, the dragon. back up this way. Back over this way. Ooh, and these guys are back. Okay. Ow. Not what I wanted. Uh-oh. Oh, I didn't need bombs. I need hearts. I can't die in my first level. Whoa. Oh, now you give me the... Not helpful. But that's the other part of this game, is that you never necessarily know what you're going to get. From room to room. Alright, now we gotta take this dragon out. And what I gotta do, obviously, is avoid those fireballs. And I gotta hit him straight in the head. And I got that. So pick up another her life container, and here is the first piece of the Triforce, which means I will get my health back. And now we are one step closer to bringing down Ganon. So the last thing I will do before I wrap it up here is I'm going to head back to that vendor. Oh, and now I get fairies. Thanks for that. Now, as you can see, that stairway is still there, which means this one on the corner is still going to be here. And I can come down here and get my magic shield. Now, the magic shield will block a whole heck of a lot more than my standard shield, but you can lose it. So, for example, I can block now her fireballs, and they won't hit me, whereas with the original shield, they would have. Now I can pick up hearts. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to head back this way to where we started and wrap it up here. But that is how you get started in the original Legend of Zelda from 1986. And again, this may seem so simple and rudimentary to a lot of you, but my hope is, and by the time I'm done playing through this game, you will see where a lot of the modern games that we know now, and a lot of the games that we in a lot of ways take for granted, where they got their original, not necessarily inspiration, but a lot of the mechanics and a lot of the things that we see as standard now. Like, this was the first game that you could actually save onto your cartridge your game. You didn't have to enter in a password, and you didn't have to hope that you remembered that the computer knew where you left off. You had this top-down look to it, which at the time was so much different than what we understood for games like this, which was still coming out of the era where you did text adventures. and I'll get more into that as we go along. I don't want to, give you a dissertation on that now, but that's part of why, for people who enjoy games like this, the original Legend of Zelda was such a revelation, and that's why, again, there's so many elements of it that were so novel in 1986 that are so big now and are such staples of the genre that it's one of the many reasons why I want to go back and revisit it. So if you enjoy that, and I hope you do, leave a like button or hit the like button, subscribe to the channel if you are new, ring the bell to be notified of the latest content. Again, I've only been back at this for a couple of days, so I'm still a bit rusty. Don't forget about Sports Saturday and Sucker Punch Sunday. They'll be coming up this weekend. We'll be playing a sports and fighting or fighting platform-based game from the 3rd, 4th, 5th, and 6th generation. We will also have our one-day features and WTF Wednesday coming back down the line. You can follow us on Twitter at @Retrocade, and again, pretty soon you're going to be able to follow us on Instagram as well. More news on that as events warrant. And if there's a game you would like to see us play here on the Retrocade from the NES, the Super Nintendo, the Sega Master System, Sega Genesis or Mega Drive, SNK, Neo-Geo, Nintendo 64, PlayStation 1, or PlayStation 2, leave it in the comments below or drop me a tweet. It can be any game you want. And again, we'll be back pretty soon with more of the original Legend of Zelda. Until then, I'm Ronin. It is great to be back. Great to have the Retrocade in business. And I will talk to you again soon. Bye.